Hi there. Today we're going to talk about estimating with percentages. Now you'll notice I've got a couple notes here. Now these notes are not in the packet. You can either print the blank copy that you see here, or you can write the notes in your homework notebook if you don't have a printer or you don't want to ask for help to print them out. It's just fine to take your notes in your homework notebook for this topic. The other note that you'll see here is that when you're checking your answers for the odd number problems from 8.5 is that the objective here is to estimate with percentages. These are estimates, which means that if the number you got is 210 and the number the book has is 208, that will be just fine because the idea here is to estimate, so you want numbers to be close. Now, if the book has 208 and you have 150, that's not close, right? You want to go back and check those. But if we're talking about 1 or 2 off, that's just fine. So get yourself ready for notes, whether it's printing or writing them in your homework notebook, and we're going to get started. So when we round with percents, we have a couple options. You can either round the percent, or you can round the number, or you can round both. So the question is, which of these do we do? Now, if we round the percent, the nice thing here with rounding the percent is that we want to have a goal of easy percents that we recognize. So percents that we recognize are multiples of 10, multiples of 5% maybe, which and then we might also want to consider multiples of 33 and a third percent, since that's equal to 1/3. Now with numbers, we tend to just want to round these when they're close but not quite there. So if I'm looking at number 1, it says estimate 25% of 496. So in this case, I already see a multiple of 5 in my percent, so I'm going to say I'm going to leave my percent alone. It's one of the nice ones that I want to see. And 495 then is where I want to round. Now the question is an estimate should involve little to no work. You shouldn't need a calculator to come out. You shouldn't need to do any scratch work. You just want to show me in your work what number you changed and maybe a tiny bit of work. And I'll show you an example here, but absolutely for these problems, there shouldn't be a lot of work, but you should let me know what numbers you rounded. So in this case, I'm going to say, what is 25% of 496? Well, that's approximately equal to, that's what the symbol means, 25%, as I said, I'm going to keep that, in this case, I'm going to round 496 to 500. Now, what I'm going to do is remind myself that 25% is 1/4 of 500. So my estimation scratch work is I'm just going to ask myself, what is 500 divided by 4? And that is going to be 125. You can do this in a couple different ways. The way I would be sneaky about it is I would say that this is 5 times 100 over 4, which I know is 25 times 5 gives me 125. So a little bit sneaky way to do it, but we're estimating. So if you feel like you have a way that you'd rather round these numbers, feel free and go with it. Now in number 2, estimate 9.2% of 252. So in this case, I probably want to round both. So since my goal with rounding percents is 10%, multiples of 10, multiples of 5, I'm going to look at 9.2 and say, oh, well, that's really close to 10. So I'm going to round 9.2 and say that's approximately equal to 10% of, in this case, I'm going to say 250. One nice trick why we like 10% is that to find 10%, remember that's 1/10. So we move the decimal point 1 space. So this will work for 10%. Just move it 1 space like that. And we know that, oh, this is approximately going to be equal to 25. One really important place that we want to estimate with percentages, and that you will estimate with percentages as an adult, is when we talk about tips. So if you go to a restaurant, or at this point when you're getting delivery from a restaurant, either pickup or curbside, you're still probably, hopefully, leaving a tip. And that is an extra amount that we add on for service and for a person helping us out with our order. Now, tips, the standard tip right now is 20%, and this is really nice in terms of estimating, because what you are going to want to think about this as is 10% times 2. So move the decimal point. At this point, round, and then multiply by 2 or double the amount, and that's going to give you your tip. And this is the way that you can tip really easily in your head. So in this case, looking at number 3, you order a pickup order from a local restaurant. At the end, your total is $38.57. Estimate how much you should leave as a tip. So if your total is $38.57, then as it says, the first thing we want to do is just move that decimal point, and this tells us that 10% is equal to $3.857. Now, obviously, this is something we don't want to necessarily multiply by 2 in our head, so this is the point where I round this, and usually when I'm writing a tip, it is in my head. I'm not using the paper, and that's absolutely fine to use your calculator, but if I see 3.857, I'm going to say that, okay, well, 10% is approximately equal to $4. So the tip I should leave, multiply by 2 to get myself to the 20% tip, is going to be about $8. And with tips especially, it's close enough. Just be careful that you're not rounding down too much so that you're leaving significantly less than a 20% tip. Now, if you have questions about estimates, or if you are looking at some of these answers, and as I said, it's okay if they're close, but you're looking at your answer and you're saying, I'm not sure, Miss Ross, I don't know if mine's close enough, please feel free to reach out in the comments, shoot me an email, or set up a Zoom meeting. And if you are stuck on any of them, nominate them, and I can explain how the book got their answers, and then a range of other possible answers that would absolutely be acceptable estimates. Talk to you later.